I was just thinking, it was about 6 months ago, maybe even a little before that there were some indicators that indicated Trump had some strength that I never had imagined, never thought. And I made kind of a panic phone call to a few people, yourself included, but I remember Natalie Gochner. I remember the conversation. She goes, Doug, let me talk you off the ledge. I'm not only on the ledge, I've gone over the ledge now. What happened here? You know, as the old thing that goes back into baseball history.
Say it ain't so, Joe.
Say it ain't so. But it is so, apparently. It would take almost the heavens opening now to keep Donald Trump from being the nominee of the Republican Party. What does this mean? What, in your opinion, brought us to this doorstep?
I've been thinking about that a lot, especially in light of, Kasich dropping out and, of course, Cruz gone. But as you've mentioned, we've had a long time to get used to this. We just couldn't quite accept it, but it was becoming more and more inevitable. We are in a democracy, and people voted, and Trump has been winning those votes. It's kind of like watching the Middle East or something, where we want people to vote, and then they don't vote for the ones we want.
The way we want them to,
and
right.
We freak out and say, no, democracy doesn't work that way. You should pick this person. This person would be perfect for your country, and that's kind of what we've done with Trump, and I'm kind of in that that group saying, no, this is not how it's supposed to go. I think the one, I don't know what this is, but we've always kind of known a Democrat was most likely going to win this election. Republicans have not fixed the demographic issues that have made things so problematic. Regardless of whether it was Trump or Mitt Romney or Paul Ryan or whomever, there's a simple fact. The Democrats have carried 19 states plus the District of Columbia for each of the last 6 elections.
Wow.
If they do that again, they just simply go 7 for 7. Then all they need is Florida, for example, and a Democrat wins. So the Republican and the Democrat have not been starting at the same starting line for a number of years, certainly not since 2008, when the immigration problems and other social issues have put Republicans in such a difficult spot with women and minorities. And as the white vote continues to shrink, it exacerbates that problem that Republicans have put themselves in.
I'm looking at some of the numbers for Donald Trump. First of all, the unfavorable rating among women is 73%. Unfavorable rating overall is in the 60s. It depends on which day, fluctuates a little bit. I've seen it as high as 67, 68%. And so, and I didn't have a chance to show this to you when you came in, but somebody sent this in, and it has a little kind of, as a matter of fact, you may want to just trot around here and take a look at this really quick, because it's worth seeing. Watch out for your headsets there. Yeah, take your head off. But look at this. Somebody texted this in, because this is the image of me this morning sitting at my desk. Let me see if I can bring this up here. Wow. Yeah, this is me sitting there in front of my desk with the Don't Talk sign on and the Daily News cover on there. And we've got it up on the screen right there. That's a flattering image of me, tongue hanging out. And somebody sent this in. And by the way, what I'm holding is the Daily News, has a little, Republican elephant in the coffin saying, "Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to mourn the GOP, once a great political party killed by epidemic of Trump." This guy sent this in, and it said, "A party so dead, the Mormons baptized it." And it has the elephant upside down with a little cross on its eyes. Can the party survive this? Is there a conceivable path, according to your perceptions, where the Republican, Donald Trump, could take the White House?
I guess the answer is certainly yes, because I think it's more likely that he could win the White House than we thought it was likely 8 months ago that he would be the GOP nominee.
Yeah.
So if you look at it from that perspective, absolutely. He is running against, I think, a very flawed candidate in Hillary Clinton with, and you mentioned this as I was was coming in with quite a history that she has to defend.
She has to carry her own baggage, and because she is the likely Democratic nominee, she'll be carrying the baggage of the entire Obama administration, of which she was a part.
Not to mention some Bill Clinton stuff.
Exactly, which goes back a long way.
And there may be some present Bill Clinton stuff, which I mean, some of it will help her because he can be brilliant at times, but he also can be everything else at times. And so she's not. I mean, President Obama, whatever you think about him, he was a great candidate. He didn't have a lot of skeletons in his closet.
And that change and hope. I used to always ask, we're changing to what and hoping for what? But it was inspirational. I've heard that from a lot of people, and even people who are now quite disappointed overall said, though, at the time, man, he was uplifting. I did feel hope, and I wanted whatever his change was.
Right. He was young without a huge record. He had a lot of things going for him that Hillary does not have going for him. But the demographics, again, for the Republicans are tough. And it's unfortunate if you're a conservative, which I am, because this election will really determine the judiciary, not just the Supreme Court. Right. That's obvious. We've got the Scalia seat. Right. We'll probably have a Kennedy seat. And he has been, he's been in the middle, but he's been in the middle that's allowed a lot of conservative victories and some losses. But if you lose Scalia and Kennedy, you lose the Supreme Court for decades potentially, and then there's the courts below that. So Republicans actually really need to win this race, regardless of who is that person.
Are you confident? And one of our texters, because we did talk about this a little earlier, a caller mentioned that, and I've preached that for years. When you're voting for the president, think about the Supreme Court at the same time, because theoretically, we could have 8 years of whoever that person is, and in that period of time, especially when you look at the rather geriatric nature of the Supreme Court, odds are you're going to have 1, 2, 3 chances to nominate. And are you confident that Donald Trump will? Because I'm not sure what he is, to tell you the truth. And, we had Don Pay here earlier, and I've known Don for years, and fortunately we're still friends, even though we've had differing opinions on this. Ron Fox was here too. But I'm not sure who the heck he is. Is he conservative? Is he a liberal? Is he a Democrat? Is he a Republican? Who would he nominate? I have no clue.
And I certainly have no clue. You're right. He is. This is the first presidential election I haven't worked on as legal counsel since 1996.
Wow.
So I think I chose the right one to get out of it. My law firm was working on Rand Paul. Another of my partners was working on Michael Bloomberg's. He was general counsel for the what turned out to not be a very interesting third-party bid by Bloomberg. I'll bet he's wishing he had gotten in now.
Maybe.
But I don't know who. Trump just doesn't have a core belief system that we've been able to see over, say, a decade. So I thought it's strange to watch. They talked about Mitt and some of his flip-flops, whereas Mitt was, for the most part, very straight down the line. There were some evolutions. For the most part, I thought very well explained. Trump doesn't bother to explain them. He was pro-life, then he's pro-choice, then he's pro-life, and he hates this, but he used to love that. And so I don't know where he'll end up.
That's one of the things that in this national article where they're talking about and this is input from Democrats, how Trump really could win. And one of it is the flip side to having no voting record and no consistent views is that you can reshape your positions at will to suit whatever the moment is.
Right.
And so when we come back, let's talk a little bit about what you anticipate the process to be, what will unfold. I'm hearing a lot of people just kind of going, oh, geez, okay. And one of our callers just a moment ago, you may have heard it coming in, said, well, I have to vote for Trump. It's not like I want to vote for Trump or I'm excited about voting for Trump. I have to vote for Trump. We'll talk about that and more. Kirk Jowers joining us right now, the former director of the Hinckley Institute of Politics. And as you just heard, he's been anxiously engaged either in actual campaigning or in the legal side of campaigns going back to 1996 and well beyond that. Let's take just a brief break. We'll come right back here on the Doug Wright Show at KSL News Radio.